Hey guys, it's Chris and welcome back to another Game of Thrones Season 8 theory video, and I have one simple question. Can the Night King be killed by dragonglass or Valyrian steel? Alright, how is the Night King going to die, if he dies at all, in our story? This is something we talked about many times in many live streams and several other in-game videos such as the Dragon Raised by Wolves, but I wanted to do a video today to get into a little bit of evidence that this may actually be the case. So dragonglass and Valyrian steel has been built up since the beginning of our story essentially. They've now found a mountain of dragonglass, so to speak, on Dragonstone. Stannis, in fact, mentioned this way back in Season 5 to Sam, and then Sam kind of rediscovered that back in Season 7 at the Citadel, that Dragonstone had all this dragonglass. Of course, that makes Jon Snow go see Dany in the first place, ask her to mine the dragonglass and tell her about the wars to come and the true threat of the White Walkers. And of course, he knows that Valyrian steel and dragonglass kill White Walkers, and Whites for that matter, since he in fact has killed 2 White Walkers himself with Longclaw, and of course Sam has killed a White Walker with dragonglass as well. And back in Season 6 during the cave scene at Bloodraven's place when Bran and Meera were escaping, Meera did in fact kill a White Walker with a dragonglass spear right before her and Bran escaped the cave and left Hodor to die tragically. So I've been saying for quite a while now that I don't think that dragonglass or Valyrian steel can kill the Night King, since he was actually created with dragonglass in the first place, with a little magic sprinkled on top. And the reason I say that is because the Night King has dragonglass in his chest in the first place. So I don't think that a piece of dragonglass touching his skin, or ice, or icy skin, will actually do anything. And as far as Valyrian steel goes, I think it is likely similar in the sense that it probably has dragonglass as one of its ingredients anyway, along with fire and blood, the house words of House Targaryen. So I think it's basically the same thing. We're going to have this big build up with dragonglass and Valyrian steel, and it ends up not being able to kill the Night King, and so you're going to have this big oh shit moment in Season 8. I kind of see it going down like you finally see Jon and the Night King in a one-on-one battle. Perhaps it's not even Jon, perhaps it's somebody else like Brienne or Jaime or whatever, and they go and hit the Night King and it bounces off his arm or his face or wherever they actually cut him, and they have this big oh shit moment where they go, damn, we thought dragonglass and Valyrian steel were the answers here. What the hell are we going to do now? And of course, another big part of this buildup is in Season 7 when we saw the dragon trap beyond the wall in Episode 6. We saw Beric Dondarrion point out to Jon, if you kill him, they will all fall. Now this is something we actually predicted over a year ago, where if you kill the White Walker that turned the Whites will all drop in their places. And we did in fact get that confirmation in Season 7 when Jon killed the White Walker and all the Whites that he had apparently created simply dropped in their place. And then of course later on during the scene where they're on the island in the middle of the icy lake, shout out to the God's Eye anyone, that's when Beric points to the Night King when he shows up and says to Jon, you kill him and everybody else will fall. But the thing is Jon said, wait a minute, you don't understand, and then he gets cut off when Dany shows up with the dragons to lay waste to all the Whites around them and basically save the damn day. But what the hell did Jon mean right there? He should have simply agreed if you think about it. He should have been like, yeah, you're right, we've already seen a White Walker die, and all the Whites that it turned simply dropped in its place, so we have to cut the head off the snake and go after the Night King himself, because there's no way they're all going to survive killing an army of Whites that's well over 100,000 strong and continues to grow stronger every single time they take out another group of people at another location. So you think Jon would have simply said, yeah, we definitely have to go after him and isolate him. That would be the smart thing to do. But Jon seemed to have a little bit of reservation when he said, wait, you don't understand, and then he gets cut off when Dany shows up. So what did Jon mean, and is there any evidence that Jon may know or at least have an idea or at least possibly think that dragonglass and Valyrian steel will not work on the Night King? Well, what made them go beyond the wall in the first place? Bran sent a letter to Jon at Dragonstone. Of course, Bran came home. Jon was already gone at that time down to see Dany to get the dragonglass, but we did see the scene where Jon had received a raven from Bran in Winterfell, probably Bran and Sansa I would imagine, where Jon tells Dany and Tyrion etc. that the Night King is on the move towards Eastwatch by the Sea because Bran had spied on him with the ravens. So Jon is already aware in some way, shape, or form that Bran has some kind of magical powers. He probably doesn't quite understand what that entails yet, and he'll find that out in Season 8 when he gets back to Winterfell, I assume. But what if Bran mentioned in that little letter to Jon that, by the way, the Night King was created with dragonglass, so Dragonglass may not kill him, so be very, very careful. Now, I'm not 100% behind this because you think that would be an important piece of information that Jon would have shared with Dany, Tyrion, and company when they planned this trip in the first place, and he would have definitely told the other people that went with him beyond the wall to say, look, if you run into the Night King, this shit ain't gonna work on him. It will work on the other White Walkers and Whites, but then again, their goal was just to grab a White really quickly and get the hell out of Dodge, so they were hoping not to run across him in the first place. So I definitely don't think Jon knows this definitively, or maybe whatsoever, because again, that seemed to be a piece of information that he would share with everyone. And of course, that's the reason we came up with a lot of things we did in a Dragon Raised by Wolves series about the endgame, because he was created with Dragonglass in the first place, so it stands to reason that Dragonglass and Valyrian Steel will not affect him. So, if Valyrian Steel and Dragonglass doesn't affect the Night King and they find out the hard way, how do you kill the Night King? Well, there's two different ways I think it can be done. One, you have to actually remove the Dragonglass in the first place, but I don't think anybody could get close enough to him and be able to touch him long enough to actually carve out that piece of Dragonglass in his chest. Now, it's certainly a possibility, but again, we don't know with his armor and his magical ice skin, for that matter, if he can be cut in the first place. So I think the only real viable option here, which goes into our endgame theory in A Dragon Raised by Wolves Part 5, and I'll link that series in the description below, is you have to destroy the magic that created the Night King in the first place and that continues to sustain him. So how do you destroy that magic? Well, that's what we get into in A Dragon Raised by Wolves Part 5, and again, I will link that video down in the description below, but essentially what it boils down to is you have to destroy the source of that magic, and I think that is the Isle of Faces at the God's Eye in the Riverlands. So again, I will link that video in the description below as well for more details on how I think that's going to happen, and I'll put a little card in here so it should be popping up right here. But essentially what it boils down to is I think that the Isle of Faces at the God's Eye Lake in the Riverlands is the hub, the CPU, the central nervous system, or the heart tree, as it's called so much in the books, as far as the central location of any gods would. I think that is the hub or the central location, the source of magic in this world, and I think that has to be destroyed in order to take out the Night King, and that's the only way to kill him, because that very magic not only created him, but it continues to sustain him, and I think that's how the Night King has to be killed. I do think he has to be killed in this story. I don't think this ends with another pack, because they do have to break the damn wheel and break the cycle again. Otherwise, this all happens again, and I think that's a big underlying theme in this story, is breaking the damn wheel, so there will not be a king or a queen at the end of this thing. There won't be any one person sitting on the Iron Throne. There will at least be some hints of change as far as the feudalism in this society, and the Night King goes along with that as well, because the cycle of war has to be broken. But anyway, I'll turn the question over to you guys. How do you think the Night King can be killed, or can he be killed at all? And specifically, do you think Dragonglass or Valyrian Steel will affect him whatsoever? And again, I'll link the Part 5 endgame video in the description below, which gives you a lot more detail on how I think that's going to happen at the Isle of Faces, with a lot of support from the books as far as hints, etc. So be sure to check that out. Let me know what you think. As usual, thank you for all the support, especially to you guys on Patreon. And a huge shout out to my executive Patreon SmokeScreen producers, Griffin, Lala Gig, Kissa Powell, Marylin Bentley, JoAnna, Anonymous, Doc Holiday, Goska, HoonJive, Horton, Erin Habig, John Carey, Anastasia, Jason Landers, DTizSmith, MJW, Carole Brown, D Brown, and Mel Hoffman. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate the support. And to everyone on Patreon, you guys literally get this channel through the long night while YouTube is essentially broken. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe to get everything. And be sure to click that damn notification bell so you're notified when I drop a new video. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, now the rains we pour is home, but not the soul to hear.